We're learning more today about the public inquiry into foreign interference. The Commissioner says her work will proceed in phases, with public hearings beginning early next year and a final report set to be released at the end of 2024. CTV's Rachel Aiello is standing by for more from Ottawa. Rachel, good to see you this afternoon. So what more can you share with us about the way forward and these phases that the Commissioner is speaking of?
Hey, good afternoon. So yes, today the Commissioner leading this inquiry essentially offered everyone an update on her work so far. So she began the role as the Commissioner leading this inquiry in September. Since then, Akshay, she said that she has been hiring staff, setting up offices, and kind of making this initial work plan. So what she's come forward with today is a plan to have this roll out in two phases. The first phase will look at alleged foreign interference by China, Russia, and other foreign actors that may have had an impact in the 2019 and 2021 federal elections, as well as what kind of information the federal government had at the time and how adequately they responded. The second phase will then look kind of more forward-looking, talking about what equipment, what tools, what capabilities the government currently has to detect and respond to foreign interference threats in the future. First report coming February 2024, and then wrapping up in her final findings at the end of the year, December 2024.
So we understand that there will be, of course, public hearings, and it will be a part of both phases. Rachel, do we know who all we will be hearing from?
We don't yet. So the Commissioner has said that she's going to be providing more information to Canadians next week, next Friday, and that will include some more information about how interested parties could apply to have standing. So similar to the various interest groups that we saw have standing in the public order emergency inquiry, this would be a similar process. They may be able to get funding. And then there will also be that portal for public submissions. So we're hoping to get more information on who we may hear from as part of this next week. And that would be essentially dividing those public testimonies into early part of next year, so January, February, ahead of that interim report, and then likely more government officials and kind of back-end machinery of government, how it's working, what they can do, what they need more on coming later next year as she works towards that final conclusion, overall providing recommendations to the federal government and Canadian democratic institutions widely about what more they can do to combat this ongoing threat of foreign meddling in Canadian elections and democratic institutions.
Rachel, lastly, also I want to check with you. I'm curious to know about what's going to be the scope. We've heard, of course, politicians talk about this a lot in the House of Commons. There's been a lot of debate on foreign interference. Time and again, we've seen the names of countries such as China and Russia come up. Is it going to be wider than that? Do we know of any other countries that the Commissioner is particularly going to be looking at?
So it will include China and Russia because she will be looking at the allegations that came forward in the 2019 and 2021 campaigns, and those were largely focused on allegations of Chinese interference. But her mandate is more broad. It is not just looking at what happened in those elections. It is looking at across Canada's democratic institutions, at foreign state actors and non-state actors. So I do expect her scope will be more broad than just a couple countries. I think as well, given the conversation we've just been having about India and the allegations the federal government has made about meddling in Canadian affairs in that way, they are likely to be another country that gets brought up.
All right, we leave it at that for now. CTV's Rachel Aiello in Ottawa. Rachel, thank you for this update.